Hello, my fellow readers. Today I'm going to be talking about A Sign of Affection by Sue Morishita. And Sue Morishita, the duo, wrote Shortcake Cake. And when I saw at the time that Shortcake Cake was concluding that there was another manga series out, I picked this one up and I so far absolutely love it. This is the story of college student Yuki. That's Yuki right there. And Yuki is actually deaf. And so when the story begins, Yuki is, I believe, on a train or public transportation, and someone comes up to her to ask for directions, and she doesn't know how to communicate effectively, that she cannot hear them. I'm trying to remember if they were also foreign. So there was double communication barriers, and suddenly she is assisted by this gentleman here, and his name is Itsuomi, and he helps her out, and when he's done helping her out, she goes to thank him and first tries signing, and then she often uses her cell phone as a means of helping. She can type it out, and sometimes she writes out communication. And I don't know, the two do have this sort of immediate chemistry. She's really drawn to him, and he's an interesting character that you get to know more about later. So later, when she's meeting with her friend, I cannot remember her name right now. I'm sorry, friend. But they talk about the person in question, Itsuomi, and she hadn't gotten his name, but I think she had seen him around campus. They both go to the same college. And so her friend pulls up a picture and is like, is it this guy? And she's like, yes, and finds out that his name is Itsuomi. And then her friend invites her out to the cafe where Itsuomi works and where the friend's crush works. So it's kind of like a multi-purpose visit to the cafe. They can get some food, but also kind of scope out the guys and see what's going on. And the story and the relationship just sort of develops from there. Itsuomi is the kind of character that he knows a lot of languages. He believes in just traveling around the world and getting to experience and see other cultures, whereas Yuki is a very isolated character, in part because of her deafness. She often stays in her own world and where she feels comfortable. She's worried about the communication barriers with other people. And so in a way that holds her back, and I think is part of why she is drawn to Itsuomi, who is so broad and worldly, and she admires that and wants to kind of draw that out. And Itsuomi in turn is drawn to Yuki, who is quieter and who knows a language that he doesn't know, and lives in a kind of world that he can't experience. And so I think there's that draw that pulls the two of them together in spite of their differences. Much like Shortcake Cake, this is kind of like an aside because I want to talk more about the story, but much like Shortcake Cake, I really enjoy the artwork in this. I don't know, there's a softness. It's not too different from other shoujo works. If you read shoujo like I do, there is sort of a standard look, but I don't know. I always feel a sense of looking at a watercolor painting when I see Sue Morishita's works. I'm not sure which of the duet does the drawing. I don't remember if they say in here, but because one is more like the drawer and the other one writes the story. And I'm not sure which one it is, but I just feel every time I read it that I'm watching a watercolor painting, if that makes sense. I don't know, there's that soft quality to it that I really enjoy. So jumping away from the beautiful art, which I do like, within the story we do find out that there is another friend that Yuki has, that she hasn't been totally isolated. She has a friend, I don't remember for how long they've been friends, who does actually know how to sign. So this is a friend that she can communicate with. And they have a very teasing relationship. I'm also kind of getting a love triangle vibe a bit from this character, even though he teases her. There's also like a jealous protective quality to him, so I'm not sure if that's going to come into play in future volumes. I do have volume 2, which was recently released, but I haven't been able to read it yet. But yeah, I'm feeling at this point, volume 1, that there may be more that comes into play from the male friend. I want to find out his name. I forgot his name. Let me see if I can pull him up. I swear I can like find the scenes with the characters, but do you think they say their name? No. So she does have the male friend, Oshikun. Obviously not speaking of the first friend, who was a female and has a crush on the co-worker of Itsuomi. Oshikun is just an interesting character that I think may end up being kind of a love triangle, jealousy figure, but I'm not sure at this point. You know, where volume 1 is, it's defining that draw between Yuki and Itsuomi, and showing that their attraction is growing stronger. So this seems to be the start of another successful and pleasing to read series by Sue Morishita. I'm very excited, especially since Shortcake Cake has ended. I always like discovering a new shoujo series to love, and this seems like it's going to be great. There are conversations with the writer, the portion of the duo that writes, where she talks about how they've been working with an actual deaf girl, female, I don't know how old the person is, in order to put as much realness into the series as possible. And so I think that is definitely a plus for this. It reads very much like an honest, true story. The emotions feel very real. Nothing seems like overly dramatic or too like pitying of Yuki because of her condition. She's just like a normal girl. She just has a different way of communicating, and at the same time, I think it also does highlight some of the isolation that she feels, whether self-imposed or not, due to her deafness, because people they don't always do their best when communicating with people who are different from them. They don't know how to deal with that. In a lot of ways, part of this does remind me of I Hear the Sunspot, the BL series, which I actually love that series as well. But that was a little bit different because he didn't have total deafness. He was still able to hear, partially hear. But I believe Yuki is like 90% deaf. She really can't do anything about her hearing loss. It is what it is. And yeah, I love stories like this that make you think about people and the world a little bit differently. So loving this. I think it's great. I don't know whether to classify this as just shoujo or if it's a bit borderline josei, because they are college age, but it's super good. Whether you are a josei reader or shoujo reader, or if you read both like I do, I think you could really enjoy A Sign of Affection by Sue Morishita. And that is it for this video. Until next time, bye.